He's bold, he's real, no filters, no shade. When hits the mic, the truth gets laid. Dawn's in the building, his swag so tight. Check your feelings, he's exposing all the lies. Every Thursday at 8, his voice takes the stage. The man's got soul like a record with age.
Hey, it's the Don Miller Show. I've been gone 2 weeks. Hey, Miss Hope. Listen, these lights are bright. Dave, how are you, my friend? Thank you so much. Hey, do me a favor. Subscribe and like. I am been informed to tell you to subscribe and like. Again, I'm not the best podcaster in the world. I'm more of a radio guy. But I did a Monday night. This is the first time I've ever did a Monday night. Shout out to Phil over there. Hey, Phil, podcast doctor. What's up? This is the first time I've done Monday night. And so I'll tell you what happened. Last week was very tough for anybody that is engaging in the type of conversation that I engage in. And it is tough because those of us who come to microphones all over the country, especially those of us who look like me, who are not aligned with the ridiculous-ass conversation that is presented by the mindset of those who have oppressed the Negro on paper and by words greater than anybody else. You know who I speak of. I speak of the people that Malcolm spoke of, the white liberal. So I'm thinking about this last week, and I'm struggling with how I'm going to get to the microphone because I met Charlie Kirk. My condolences to his family that I posted on social media. Got a bunch of weird backlash, and I met Charlie Kirk. I drove up to Gainesville to hear him speak. I thought he was a very impressive young man. He was very young at the time, and he was quick on his toes, and I just have an affinity for bright people. How you engage or what your position is, even if I don't agree with your beliefs, I believe that intelligent people, we're losing them in record number. And we're losing a lot of them because they don't want to go to the microphone because of the backlash. But this young man at 18 years old created an entire box that is probably one of the most amazing things I've seen in terms of galvanization of people who kind of have been cast away. Young people raising their hand, trying to figure things out. So anybody who tells you that Charlie Kirk wasn't doing great work, you tell them that I said, and I'm not going to say what I want to say in front of D'Amica. You tell them I said they're wrong. But guess what? Joining me here on the show for 15 years, since 2011, on the Don Miller radio broadcast, in a bunch of stations and a bunch of platforms, this was the person that guided me back to the conversation when I spiraled out of control on thousands of occasions. She is one of the best I've ever known in my life. She is steadfast and steady. She is Jesus all the time. Ladies and gentlemen, D'Amica Page. Hey, D.
Hey, Don.
Man, I miss you. And to all of our listeners who've been sending me them emails, here we are. D'Amica Page is in the studio, and I could not do this show, honestly, guys, without having D'Amica Page in the studio, because this is a conversation that to me, guys, very important. This is not about the political aspects of who Charlie Kirk was. Mm-hmm. He was a giant political figure, but he was that figure through galvanization of people that a lot of people had turned away from. Young people that were curious, that were not getting education, but indoctrination.
Young people that were picked up by the Obama administration. So when he ran, a lot of young people were first-time voters. So he actually
more than 8 million people.
Yes.
And guess what happened to them?
And then they got kind of just left at the gate, you know. So he didn't keep them engaged. And Charlie
we talked about that back in 2012. We talked about it, and I realized back in 2008, the level of galvanization with Obama was very similar to what we see with Charlie Kirk and the young people. And the difference is Charlie Kirk brought a real message, and he realized the importance of keeping them attached to the conversation.
I would even go a step further and say that Obama brought them to the polls, but Charlie Kirk brought them to the conversation.
Absolutely. I concur.
And so that was, in my opinion, the difference. He actually wanted to engage in dialogue.
Whether he went to them.
Yeah, whether you agreed or not, he still wanted to have the dialogue.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to talk about this from a couple of perspectives. We're going to be joined soon by another great friend of the show. Phil, you'll let me know, right?
Yeah, I'll let you know.
And we're going to be joined by a very, very astute scholar who's a friend of the show, who's been on this broadcast on many occasions. But just having D'Amica here is so important to me because I'm watching one of the points I want to make before I go into what Charlie Kirk meant to the conservative movement, which is everything. Let's be clear, right? There would be no Donald Trump in the White House if it wasn't for this young man. I'm sorry, people say what they want to say, and I saw what he did. I was at the University of Florida, and I watched how they lined up. It had to be 50 deep, waiting to get to the microphone field. You've seen it. And he just, boom, 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 like no notes, just bam, right? And it's because he was very studied, and he was committed to his cause. Would you concur?
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
You know, so my concern is, right, when I watch this and I watch this blatant murder, like this was murder, this was an assassination, and I hurt for his wife and those babies, and I hope if that happened to me, I would hope people gave a damn. Okay. And then I watch these people who say they are attached to this Jesus Christ guy, right? Saying things that are not of Jesus Christ. Not the Jesus Christ I know. And it is sad. It's sorrowful because we have played this, he or she's a racist. The Negro should be ashamed because the Negro is the only group that let our enemy pick our enemy. We have allowed our enemy, people that have engaged negatively against us, to tell us who our enemy is. And I want to really spend some time on this. I've said this name on the show a bunch of times. He is one of the most horrible individuals that is playing the Jesus game in America today. I think he's horrible. I have no respect for him. He is a pastor in Atlanta, Georgia, of a church who had a previous horrible pastor, Jamal Bryant. And it is amazing to me the affinity the Negro has for this dude who has created a narrative and is riding it with the biblically illiterate, right? These people aren't engaged in the Word of God. You can't be and sit in this conversation. He's gone to the gay church and apologized to the gay church. He addressed a gay couple, pastor and his husband as the first husband. Negro, who are you? Yet the Negro shows up every Sunday and get this bogus ass word from this con man. And then he took it to a level even I was even more appalled by. When he went to a microphone, and let's be clear, what percentage of black people knew who Charlie Kirk was? Phil? Not many.
Not many. I mean, I knew, but not
right?
many.
You knew, but you're well read. D'Amica, you knew. Okay, I expect you to know, D'Amica. I know.
But there are people in my circle that didn't know who he was.
Absolutely. The point I make is this, right? It's amazing to me how when somebody says something that, oops, and then you go to a microphone and you call people names to the extent that I have seen in the last few days. I want to really hit something. Then I want D'Amica to take us down the road on this. I got a call from a young lady the other day. Her mom's a friend of mine. Her dad passed away, and she was crying because she lost her job. And I was like, what happened? I thought something was wrong with her mom. She's like, my mom told me to call you. I lost my job. What happened? I lost my job. Finally, she tells me why she lost her job. I don't know what to tell you, Phil. Why would you post anything regarding someone you don't know? Because she said her friend said this was a racist. So you go out and you post. And then you have the nerve to talk to me about freedom of speech. Let me explain to the Negro and to the idiot, white, black, indifferent, that don't understand. Take your ass somewhere and read the Constitution. Freedom of speech speaks directly. Private employers can fire your ass. Mm-hmm. Freedom of speech pretty much says you can't get arrested for speaking your mind. You can't get killed by the government for speaking your mind. But that company over there don't have to have your ignorant ass working for them. Mm-mm. It's amazing to me that people who are in leadership positions come to microphones and are just so... Tamika, help me understand. First of all, I want to play this clip of this guy. I would never call this Negro pastor. This con artist. Okay? Play that clip. Jamal Bryant.
Concerned about all of these Negro preachers who've been, in fact, talking about that this man that was killed was the answer to Christ in the earth. Y'all ain't saying nothing. They having moments of silence in black churches all over the country over a man that was racist and a white supremacist. How dare you compare him to Martin Luther King? The only thing that Charlie Crist and Martin Luther King got in common is both of them was killed by a white man. After that...
All right, stop this, right? Stop this. So he don't even know who he's talking about. Somebody gave him some notes. Charlie Crist was the congressman from Florida.
He was a governor too, wasn't he?
And he was the governor.
Yes.
He was not.
His name is not Charlie Crist.
You follow me, Phil? Mm-hmm. But this is the guy that people are following, right? This guy is accusing this man of being a white supremacist and a racist. And he's angry at the wonderful black men of God who took the time in their black congregations to take a moment of silence out of empathy.
You could say that.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. And condolences?
Yeah.
For someone who was assassinated and lost their life.
Okay, so we are talking about pastors, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, so that means we're talking about servants of God. We're talking about people who study the Bible, who teach the Bible to the people, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So they're actually doing what the Bible says.
Hello.
So the black pastors that he's referring to are doing something like what Proverbs 24:17 says. Do not rejoice and gloat when your enemy falls, and do not let your heart be glad in your self-righteousness when he stumbles. Or the Lord will see your gloating and be displeased, and his anger return towards you. So regardless of what you thought about him,
even if you thought he was your enemy. Yeah, right?
Even if you thought he was your enemy.
Come on, man. But it's amazing to me.
So he is in direct contrary to what the Bible says. He is actually contradicting what the word says, and he's supposed to be preaching it. So clearly he don't know it, and he's not doing it in the pulpit.
You know what's amazing, though? I was just appalled by listening to people. I am so ashamed of some of the leadership or the misleadership in the black community. I'm so ashamed. And to that scripture you just hit me with. And I don't know all my scriptures. Damika know all her scriptures, Phil.
I don't know all my scriptures.
I don't know all my scriptures. But that scripture you just hit me with, right?
Yeah.
I put in Grok, okay, and asked, what does the Bible say about people who gloat?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it hit me with that scripture. I'm like, then I'm like, is that really in the Bible? And the Bible speaks directly.
Yes.
Even if it's your enemy or perceived enemy. Huh?
You shouldn't be celebrating about it.
You should not be celebrating. And that, to me, is the basis of why I want to talk tonight.
Yeah.
Who are you? What are you doing? How do we engage with clowns like this guy with his fancy clothes and his fancy cars and you ignorant ass Negroes who sit there and cheer because you're attached to a broken vessel? And I want to pray for all y'all to figure out a way to pull yourself away from this attachment. I talked to one of my pastor friends today, got 40,000 members. A lot of members. And he too was appalled because he know his word. Mm-hmm. I remember the time sitting with my friend who passed away, who knew his word, who talked eloquently about acceptance and engagement.
Who you're talking about.
R.C. Sproul, the wonderful R.C. Sproul, my friend who is no longer with us, one of the greatest theologians of our time. Mm-hmm. And I want to shout out A.R. Bernard, one of the greatest theologians of our time. Gentlemen who the word of God was their focus from the time they got there to the time they left, and did not preach ridiculousness like this person. We should be praying for that man's soul and his family. Absolutely. He good. We ain't really pay for that brother, right?
Yeah.
He good.
It's done.
But let's pray for that lady and the children, that wife, the mother, in that organization he built from scratch as an 18-year-old. Mm-hmm. And anybody who shall rise up and tell me you're a Christian and speak against it, look, I want you to block me and drop me. If you think it's okay to speak negative to this situation, please unfriend me at every level. Don't speak to me in public. And if I see you, just nod your head. I know why we ain't talking no more. Because this is shameful. And I don't want to be attached to people who find it okay. I don't want to have nothing to do with them, D'Amica. You know how I am, D'Amica.
I get
what
it.
you see is what you get with me. And I am ashamed of ignorance. Ignorance is, oh my God. Because there's nobody has to be ignorant anymore. We got right here, everywhere you go, you got one of these.
You got a smartphone. You don't have to be ignorant.
And let me tell you how the devil, how the demonic, the Democrats.
Democrats.
Let me tell you how the Democrats work, right? Their machine is broken. And they've thrown everything out there to get this machine jump started again. The battery don't work. They done plugged it in the wall. It ain't jumping it off. They done got to jump from something else. It ain't jumping it off. And now where do they go? Where do they always go? They go to race. D'Amica, how many times have we seen this?
It's the only card they have at this point.
They go to race, Phil.
They only have the race card.
We must stand down. And I'm telling you right now, I know they probably calling me a coon and an Uncle Tom, but when did they start calling me that, D'Amica?
When did they
30 years ago?
Not call you that?
Yeah, I've always been an Uncle Tom.
When did they
and a
stop
coon.
calling you that?
I'm just saying, we got to be careful, guys. Yeah. When I watch how the level of manipulation in this conversation, don't tell me you follow Christ and even, come on.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Like, think about this, right? A person that's not a friend of mine sent me a message and said, man, that guy was a racist. You heard what he said? And I said, what'd he say? Man, he went off on an Asian person at a speaking engagement, went off on the Asian guy. Mm-hmm. I want y'all to play this clip. Watch this, Phil.
God damn, God bless this man.
No,
Somebody
Phil.
had to say it.
So we have spent 30.
Oh, my bad. Chink, yeah.
Play this clip, Phil.
He's Turkish. Somebody.
Okay, but play the clip. The Asian guy he went off on. This is what they were saying in the message they sent.
You're trying to attack me, which is ridiculous, like asking me what my salary is. Sure, I'll reveal it willingly.
You brought it up in context. I'm asking,
No,
why don't you live like a socialist?
Okay.
Go live like a socialist.
The point is larger. The point is larger than that, Charlie.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Chink.
guys.
I live as a capitalist.
Hey.
I live what I believe.
No.
What do I do?
So they
I
sent me
carry
that
every single year.
Hold on.
Okay, watch this. So they sent me that, Phil, and they said, did you hear him call the Asian guy Chink?
That's so stupid.
Phil, who was he talking to?
He's
That's
talking
his
about
first name.
He's talking about Chink
That's his name.
or something like that.
Chink
He
from
runs
the Young Turks.
The Young Turks, yeah.
Okay, who's another podcaster.
That's hilarious.
But his name is Chink. And the person, let me read this.
Oh boy, who's sending you
Hold on,
messages?
let me read this, right?
Don't they know all things
Google-
are going to go on
Google
your
is free.
They
show?
said, Don,
Google
how
is
dare
free.
you This came from Rod. Don, how dare you
And
call
you
this?
call the name.
How dare you call this dude, say he's not a racist when he called this Asian man a chink? He was talking to Chink, which is his first name, C-E-N-K, from the Young Turks. But this is the game they play. They called him a racist because he said, they take everything, but see, I told somebody today, don't talk to me if you don't have the context.
Mm-hmm. Context matters.
Context is everything.
Mm-hmm.
They talked about the black pilots. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
So he said if he go to the airport pretty much and he see a black pilot,
He's wondering,
if he qualified. But if you go watch the whole thing in context.
He's really talking about DEI.
DEI.
Yeah, his disdain.
His disdain for DEI. And what does the Bible say about DEI?
I got a question about that though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So where does that thought process though come from though? Because where he wouldn't have that thought process if he saw a white pilot though.
No, let me say this though. Watch this. Okay, and I'm not defending it.
Right.
But I understand it. See, defending and
Don't be taking
understanding.
my words.
Defending it, Phil, and understanding it is different, Phil. Okay, watch this. Because I have admitted more than once on this show to being prejudiced.
Absolutely.
Huh?
For years now. For years.
Prejudice is hell. My grandma was prejudiced. D'Amica's grandma
from a long
was
line.
prejudiced. I come from a long line of prejudiced Negroes. And prejudice.
I call it profiling. My grandmama was the original
Your mom was a
profiler.
And prejudice ain't just with white folk. Okay? So when I was following the DEI conversation, and we was on the radio Monday through Friday for 4 hours a day, and we covered DEI at the highest level, correct?
Yeah.
And then I was talking to somebody who worked at a high level in DEI. And she was like, man, this is driving me crazy. I got to keep bringing people in here and hiring them when the qualified people getting passed over because you had to meet a quota. You had to bring the numbers up. One airline had 20% of African Americans in the pilot box. They needed to get that number to 50. How do you get that number to 50? You hire people who probably ain't qualified or ain't ready. So I get what he's saying, but because he's white, he can't say it. But he was also white and didn't have that level of fear. See, I was talking about it on the radio. You know this. Man, let me tell you, there's nothing that bothers me most than a scary-ass white person who's scared to be called a racist because you take a position.
Dr. White's here.
Huh?
Dr. White's here.
Thank you. Okay. D'Amica, you understand my point?
Oh, absolutely.
So we got to be
I don't
careful.
agree with DEI.
We got to be careful. But I'm so tired of anytime a white person say something, even if there's numbers to prove it, they are racist. We got to stop, but we also got to call out these clowns. Hey, joining us here on the Don Miller Show, he is a great friend of the show. You've seen him here a bunch of times. He is one of the most brilliant scholars in America as it relates to these type of conversations. Dr. V. Issa White. Hey, Doc.
Hey,
there
good
he is.
afternoon,
There's
good
Doc.
evening.
Hey, Doc.
Dominica, welcome back to the United States.
Thank you, Dr.
I
White.
heard you had a great time in Ghana. You was in Accra,
Yes.
Kumasi,
Yeah.
the Victorian castles and all of that.
Yes. It was
I see
amazing.
you have that African sun on you, looking good.
Absolutely. Doc, I'm so
my
glad
brother.
you're joining us. Thank you so much for joining us, Doc. You know how much we appreciate you here. I'm talking about the message from, I'm not calling this dude a pastor. Y'all can call him pastor. From Jamal Bryant in Atlanta, Georgia, who went in front of his congregation on Sunday and called Mr. Kirk, who is not even in the ground yet, a racist and a white supremacist, Doc. Doc, At what point in the religious conversation, in the theology, and those of us who walk with God, when did that become okay?
What's taking place now, Don, is that black ministers, many of them are practicing something that I call conciliatory theology. And that is a theology that aligns with a political party or an agenda. So therefore, they present an argument that is not for the people, but is for their handlers. Their handlers are the ones who finance them and create the narrative for them. At one time, black pastors used to follow a theology that I call liberation theology. That is fighting for the freedom, the rights, the justice of the African American community. It was not bent on politics. It was not bent on liberalism or conservatism. But now that's all they do. And the majority of the black pastors have become stooges. They have become gatekeepers, and they have become enemies, not only to the people, but to God himself. They're not theologians. Don't call Brian the theologian. He's not well-read. He is not he doesn't analyze. He only looks at politics because he is connected to the Democratic Party. That's where he gets his money. That's where he gets his fame. That's where he gets his influence. Just call it for what it is.
You know, Doc, I'm so glad I have you on here because D'Amica and I love talking to D'Amica. We have these random, hey, what you doing? Go on for 45 minutes. Then she just said, I got to go. I don't even know I'm talking to you right now. And D'Amica hit me with, we're talking about DEI, and she hit me with Proverbs 18:16. Your gifts will make room for you. And I got off the phone and I read this, right? And your gifts will make room for you speaks totally against DEI.
Yeah, because I like the way Dr. White said it. That's the way he explains what he see in pastors today. But I have a different way of describing what I see in some pastors, not all of them. But a lot of pastors are engaging in what I call is idolatry. They have made political parties, their idol. Some have made being black, skin color, their idol. And anytime, if you look out throughout history, biblical times, whether it's Old Testament, New Testament, and even today, it's a pattern that's very consistent. Anytime you cause disruption to someone's idol, it will be met with frustration, anger, hatred, and violence. And that is a consistent pattern. So these pastors who have put black as an idol, or they idolize the skin color, if you cause any disruption in that thought process, they're going to meet you with frustration, anger, hatred, and violence. And so that's what we're hearing coming out of the pulpit, because the reason why they want to call Charlie Kirk racist is because he does not believe in DEI, affirmative action, and what's the other one? Where you give them money. They want... Give us money. No. Reparations.
Yeah,
reparations. So he has some very strong opinions about those things. And so now you're attacking my idol. Now you're attacking my idol, which is my color, my skin color. Now we got beef with you. And so you're hearing that hatred come across the pulpit. But the Bible said because we're talking about pastors, because I want to keep that in context. And because we're talking about pastors, we're talking about the word of God. In the word of God, it says, your gift will make room for you, not your skin color.
Okay, go ahead, Doc.
What's so interesting to me is that I didn't follow Charlie Kirk that much. I would listen to him once in a while. But the people who are attacking him now
never heard him
attack him forcefully when he was alive. I looked through many clips, and I didn't see what they saw or what they're seeing, that racist diatribes that he allegedly stated. I don't see it. That doesn't mean I saw everything, but I don't see it. But the point is that when he was alive, that's when you should have gone after him. It's no bravery going after someone who's dead. You see, that's just silly.
Yeah, Doc, you're 100% right, because there was a wonderful pastor 6,000, 5,000 miles away in Africa, Phil, that came to his congregation on Sunday. Phil, let's play to the audience what this African minister of a large congregation had to say to his African congregants on the content of Africa.
One of the most promising young men of this century was shot dead some days ago because he spoke truth. Now you think corruption is in Africa? You think wickedness is in Africa? Shot dead for speaking truth. This is why men must rise that submit to Jesus. And when such men rise, the way you know it is that they have a slogan: if I perish, I perish. Because when you kill one, the man to rest on 100. You will regret that you killed them. In fact, their death becomes a greater witness than their lives. The young man that was killed lived for 31 years, but the witness of one day of his death is more than his 31 years life. Today, every part of the world has heard his message, and many have been converted.
Thank you so much, Phil. Now think about this, Doc. There's a pastor in Africa who's going to his congregation saying this young man lived for 31 years, but his work will live much longer.
Mm-hmm.
He's not even here. And they have they've had moments of silence all over the world for a 31-year-old American who was shaking the tree. Yet many of us who, again, didn't know him. Most of the people I'm watching and hearing, they didn't know this guy.
Absolutely.
Never heard of him. Okay? People losing their jobs because somebody sitting next to them in a cubicle said he was a racist. So they run to social media and say he was a racist. You're supposed to lose your job. And I hope you don't get hired for a while now, because there has to be some accountability for people's actions. Yeah. Nobody has to hire you just because. And there are too many people in the workplace right now who have gotten to the workplace because.
It's not even just having a consequence for your action, just a consequence for your thought process. Like, what made you think that was a good idea?
Yeah.
You know, when you work for somebody. How soft skills? You're demonstrating your lack of soft skills.
Doc, you know this, Doc. People have gotten jobs a certain kind of way, don't have the appreciation for them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, we have lost our consciousness and just being able to do good work, be well prepared, and being able to perform like we're supposed to. They're giving people positions because, again, many of them are not skilled. They got the right color and they say the right things. And we can't have that any longer. But going back to this element with Charlie Kirk, the ministers, and I think Jamaica said it very, very clearly. It's big money, it's big business pushing and pimping the struggle of Black people on the podium. It's big money in that. It's a corporate entity. So therefore, as long as they can say anything that's based on race, attacking a white who may be speaking truth, they get over and people begin to like it. I mean, I went to church a couple of weeks ago, and there was a minister there, and the first thing that came out of his mouth was that, Donald Trump is the new Pharaoh. You know, the people say, yeah. But with no analysis, no thought, they're just sound bites. And this is a terrible thing, and we have to change this trajectory. I mean, the theologians like Albert Cleves, C. Eric Lincoln out of Chicago, Elijah Muhammad, James Cone out of New York, they're not there any longer. And we have a bunch of charlatans. They need to be ran off the pulpit, ran out of the church, and forced to get a real job instead of pimping the people.
You know what? I totally 100% agree with you, because I'm amazed at what these people can get away with. And as a guy who spent a lot of time with real theologians and watched how they lived and watched how they engaged, and then look at some of these people, and I'm like, this person don't even know the Bible. That's not in the Bible. But if you're preaching to the unlearned, look, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man reigns king, right? If you're preaching to the unlearned, engaging with the unlearned, that's not even seeking knowledge, it is easy to hold it over their heads.
Absolutely, because they're not reading it for themselves.
Yes.
So you don't know that somebody that's ignorant standing up before you.
And we got to be careful, because I think the racism card is really coming close
dangerous
to running its course.
Very dangerous.
Okay? Getting to the point where, like, the person who cried wolf, right? I'm going to play this clip of just a typical Charlie Kirk sitting on a campus as he did. Not in most of the time, Phil, it wasn't even in an auditorium. He would sit outside on the campus. And
Right,
people would
absolutely.
come, and people would come and line up to a mic and take him on, Phil. Some days there were 80,
conversation.
90 people. Right, Doc?
Absolutely.
And he didn't have notes. Watch this clip and tell me, is this racist? Go ahead, Phil.
Damn, God bless this man. Somebody had to say it.
So we have spent $30 trillion on the social welfare system since 1965. Black people are poorer, and the single motherhood went from 25% to now 75 to 80%. So the more money we've spent on Black America, the less fathers we have, because Black women divorced Black men and married the government.
Wow. Where's the racism in that?
I don't totally agree with what he said,
Okay.
but I understand what he's saying.
Okay, tell me what you don't agree with.
Well,
Because I agree with 100% what he just said.
are they divorcing Black men? Yeah, but it started before that. So Black fathers being out of the home started before Black women started divorcing them. It started with social programs required men to be out of the home so that they can get those benefits.
But
So
what he's
that's-
saying is, I don't think he's saying legal divorce.
Listen.
I think he's saying they separated.
But it
Okay.
started there.
Yes.
It started there,
The
and it has,
government did
and
it.
that pattern has continued.
But the government
That's
did
exactly
it.
what the government started has continued
Yes.
and has become a part of our culture.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Right.
So while I'm saying I
Going
don't
back to the man in the house rule.
Exactly. And I agree, because the head of household left, and then the government became the head of household. And so every program since then has not benefited the Black family.
So, Doc, when you hear a white dude say this, right? Do you find it racist?
No, I don't find it racist because, again, you can go back to the 1960s with Daniel Patrick Moynihan.
Absolutely.
He wrote a report titled The Negro Family that came from E. Franklin Frazier's piece, The Negro
Absolutely.
Family.
Yep.
And it stated that when you chase the Black man out of the home, you have not only the destruction of the family, but you have the destruction of the community.
Absolutely.
So it's not racist. And if the liberals agreed with Patrick Moynihan in 1961, why can't they agree with what Mr. Kirk stated, all right, in 2025?
And you, Doc, you're 100% right, because Moynihan said it, and he was in a high position politically.
Absolutely.
Okay?
He was on the cabinet. He was in the cabinet with Kennedy, and later on with Lyndon Baines Johnson.
Absolutely. And he was a senator.
Absolutely.
Okay?
All right.
So when you talk about this guy, goes to the microphone and says exactly what he said, and people are like, yeah, he's right. Wow, right? So this young guy comes and says it, and it makes him a racist to say it.
Yeah.
I grew up in a family that was broken by the welfare system in this country. I grew up when the welfare lady came to knock on the door, Doc, and we had to hide the telephone because guess what you wasn't supposed to have? That was a luxury item. And they would come in the house and they would look to see if there were men's clothing, men's attire in the apartment. And if so, then they would hold your check for a month. That was the oppressive regime of the 60s, was the welfare system, the government-run welfare system that ravaged the Black community, ran the man out of the house, the same man that fled the South, millions, to get away from Jim Crow and segregation, who fled north and then go north, and then the welfare system that was structured to do this was more devastating than us. At least in the South, Doc, we were families.
Right. But I'd like to add something else to this conversation. And that is, not only are leaders and many extremist Black activists are against him, but there's another group too called the neocons. Now, what's taking place with this? Now, he was a good friend of Donald Trump. But when Donald Trump was talking about a conflict with Iran, he was the only one within that group that said, Donald Trump, that's the wrong move. All right, don't start no war there. We have to focus on our issues. America comes first.
Right.
Along with this, he was the only one within the Trump circle that began to criticize Israel. Even though he supported Israel, he also stated that, listen, if I critique Israel and they're doing something wrong, and like Candace Owens, it doesn't mean that I'm anti-Semitic. So the point is that I argue that there is a group that's out there that's really trying to denigrate Kirk and trying to bury his ideas because he was critiquing a new way of thinking. And he was bringing on a number of Americans, white, black, young, who began to critique Israel for what it is and to say that we have to focus on our issues. Another person who was in league with him is Margaret Taylor Greene. All right? And the neocons and the liberals hate her as they hated Kirk. That's just another dynamic to this conversation.
No, you're 100% right, because, again, I was just having this conversation. He raised his hands on some issues that nobody else raised their hands on. Like, whoa, I don't think we need to do this. He spoke against the power. So when you see this, you know, you got to have a better, there are people who feel this way, Doc and D'Amica, that didn't say a word.
Well, I like to say he liked to engage people in critical thinking. He liked to encourage people to think critically, no matter who it is, no matter what the topic is, to always think critically and ask questions. And some people say he was speaking against Israel, but he wasn't speaking against Israel. He is a friend of Israel, and he has said it on multiple occasions.
Absolutely.
However, he had some questions.
Right.
And I think a true friend, even in just day-to-day life, if they're a true friend, if they see some things that don't quite line up, your true friend is going to have some questions.
And I look, again, Charlie Kirk never used hate speech. He used speech they hated.
I like that.
I like that.
Okay?
That's good.
Let's be clear, right? He never used hate speech. He used speech they hated. And so when I'm watching the fact that the Negro didn't even, until he was gone, right? Yeah. He was bringing real conversation about, in every box, Doc, the transgender movement. We know what he said,
topic,
right?
Every topic. And it's so
every topic, right? Every topic, black people, transgender. Only we decide to have our people who lead us spiritually decide to go and call names after this young man is no longer here. My concern is that if you gotta know history. You cannot speak on someone if you have not really spent some time to look at their life, right?
Right.
I've seen and read, and shout out to Robbie. I love you so much, bro. Man, Robbie is like, man, he ended up going down the Charlie Kirk rabbit hole 2 months ago. And he said, he was like, it's so much to see. This guy's over 1 billion hits, Phil. Over 1 billion views, right? And he's probably got 400 million since he passed, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The Charlie Kirk rabbit hole is brilliant watching because you see him get attacked from every subgroup. You see the transgenders line up and call him names on the college campus. You see every group. Am I right, Doc? So how did we raise up to the point where, because he said something about us, he's an absolute racist and a white supremacist? We got to be careful, because those of us who say Jesus is our Savior, go listen to his thoughts on that.
Many people don't even know the history of Jesus. I mean, the
right, Doc.
Is very interesting.
Yeah.
The guy is killed at age 31. Jesus is crucified around 31, 32, 33.
Yep.
Right.
All right. Jesus, he was a polarizing figure. This guy is a polarizing figure. Now, please, listeners, don't think I'm saying that he's Jesus. All right. Don't get it twisted. But the element is that he challenged the power elite. He questioned the narrative that is out there. And that's all you want. That's what we have to do if we're going to change the trajectory of this country.
But
and he did it very well.
I don't think people understand the value in having someone that will challenge the power. Many of us can't do it. Let's be clear, right? Here was a person who was self-made, who challenged power.
Yeah.
How are we not saying yay for him, right? Thank you, sir. But we pinpoint or pick out situations and circumstances that the oppressor has attached to this young man that they know what we're going to bite on, right? Listen to me. He challenged power. He didn't challenge black people or white people or just the Jews. He challenged power. He spoke truth to power, dog.
He spoke the truth, and he spoke the truth no matter what category he was talking about. And unfortunately, I think the sad thing, I like that saying you just said. What is it called, Don? What you just say it was?
I say he never used hate speech. He used speech they hated.
And unfortunately, he spoke truth. He spoke truth about different subjects. And to me, when you say that, it's even more saddening to me. It saddens me even more because you have to want the truth. You have to desire the truth. You have to want the truth, no matter who the truth is coming from, because it's the truth that sets us free. It's the truth that gets us to the next level. It's only the truth. And if you can't handle, that's a movie, right? If you can't handle the truth, if you can't handle the truth just because it's coming from somebody that doesn't look like you, it's a very dangerous place to be in.
And let me tell you something, Doc. When I first saw this guy, I was like, okay, where'd he go to school? And I went down this rabbit hole.
Didn't go to school.
He was an autodidact, Doc. He was an autodidact. Okay, Phil, go pull that up, right?
I don't even know how to spell it.
Oh gosh, Phil. Autodidact. Ready? AUTODIDACT. Autodidact, right? And an autodidact is a self-taught person.
Oh, okay.
Huh?
I see.
Put it on the screen, Phil.
I can't.
Oh, you can't. Okay. Anyway, the point I make is this, right? When you see people like this and see the space they move in, and he talked about not being formally educated. He said it when he went to Oxford, Phil. He's standing there debating at Oxford, Doc, as an uneducated person, right? And he's giving them the business at Oxford. And I think that everything will be changed. I really believe this in my heart. That autodidactism is going to be the difference in this, to change us and bring us to the right place. Education, as it is today, Doc, I do believe, as he said, is a scam.
It is. I
Okay?
mean, he is almost like Malcolm. Malcolm was self-trained, right?
He was, absolutely, autodidact.
Maya Angelou, she didn't go to college.
Right, absolutely.
All right, she is self-trained, taught herself how to read and write and speak 5 different languages.
Right.
But when you have the motivation and when you have the heart to do what is right,
Yes.
all right, then you will be motivated to change this society. Remember, Jesus was not a lettered man. But and Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings upon him.
Absolutely.
He was not lettered. Moses was not lettered either.
Right.
All right. But they had a dynamic to change society. All right. And that's what that is what is lacking again in reference to the African American ministers, the majority of them. They may have the skill, they may have the education, they may have the congregation, but they don't have the heart to change society for the better. And that is why the African American community is stagnant right now.
And you know
It's
what
not
else?
moving.
You know what else, Dr. White, that they don't have? They should be, according to Scripture, according to the Bible, they should be ministers of reconciliation.
Come on.
Oh boy, here we go. Go ahead.
But you can't be a minister of reconciliation if you're standing in the pulpit and using that as an opportunity to create even more division. You know, you're supposed to be someone to usher in healing for our nation, but you can't do that because of the type of speech that you're engaging in across the pulpit. Even one of the things Don and I used to talk about all the time with the Nation of Islam, Always. He was always trying to bring people together, no matter what your differences were. He was really good about bringing people together to at least have the conversation, trying to usher in some reconciliation.
He was deemed, called names because the people didn't study and pay attention or read. Okay,
right.
The Honorable Louis Farrakhan.
Yes.
I just want people to go read. You know, I'll never forget when I was on the conservative talk radio in a market where I was the first. Me and D'Amica, we're the first black people in that market in the history of that market, right? And we played Malcolm, and I got so many messages from people's like, Malcolm X said that, but they knew Malcolm X from what had been written and presented,
and not a lot after his trip to Mecca.
Right? You follow me? So we have to be careful. Phil, get this ready for me. Books don't bite. Okay? Books don't bite, Doc. It is amazing. It's like we are afraid. You can't grow if you don't know.
I got a couple questions if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Because I have, you know, I'm the youngest one here besides D'Amica. I have a lot of people who are on the other opposite side of the spectrum when it comes to Charlie Kirk. Not saying he was a racist or anything. It's just that they just have some questions that I would like to know the answer to.
Okay.
Right?
All right,
has any civilians had those type of funeral processions or flag half-staff?
Great. I'm glad you asked that. Okay, what else you got so I can let them go first?
Also, was the flag half-staff for Melissa Hortman?
Okay.
Also, when people talk about how they've getting fired for the things that they've said, a lot of really far right people were happy that people were going to be fed to the alligators at Alligator Alley. Also, they were talking about George Floyd all the time. Even people who they quoted the same people. So these are the things that I've seen on my feed.
Hold on. I want D'Amica and Doc to take it, and then I'm gonna close out on it. Go ahead.
Well, not to my knowledge, any other civilian to this extent, but I might be wrong. I will defer to Don and Dr. White on that. So you said a lot of different things that people...
No, he said what every young person is soundbiting right now. Go ahead. Okay.
In terms of what he said about George Floyd, so I would say to that one, because I don't remember everything you just rattled off. But in terms of
he said Alligator Alley, George Floyd.
I haven't heard that.
Civilian
the Alligator
honors.
Alley. But I do know that there are some people, if you want to call it celebrating, that people are losing their jobs because people are being ridiculous. You know, a nurse that will go online and say some of the things that she said. So then now, as the employer, you expect me to believe that my patients are going to feel safe
when you've exhibited no compassion
at all
publicly.
At all,
you got to go.
So what you did publicly, taking that opportunity, it's going to impact our business. And so if you didn't take the time to consider that, shame on you. Shame on you. Now, if you were self-employed, then you can take that risk yourself. But you're asking the employer to take that risk with you staying on board. I know people who have been in the healthcare system, and they have seen nurses just from 101. But then for you to go socially on platforms and to just make that public that you feel that way about a human being, shame on you. Okay. Now, when it comes to George Floyd, I've heard him say things about George Floyd that I've heard other black conservatives say about George Floyd. I have not heard him say anything different. Quite frankly, a lot of the things he has said, we have said on our show, on the Don Miller show, when we were at the Big 8, where were we?
No, we've been to so many stations. Go ahead.
I don't remember where we were, but I have not heard him say things that were much different than what we've said. But it doesn't sound good because it's coming from somebody that doesn't look like them.
Okay, go ahead, Doc.
Going to half-staffs, yes. First ladies, all right, they're civilians. They don't have an office in the White House nor in any level of administration during their time. When they die, half-staff. All right, very interesting. There have been a number of civilians throughout the course of the United States history whereby they have died, they had contributed something if it's art, if it's science, if it's literature, where the president has ordered the flag to fly half-staff. So these people who are talking like this, they're nothing more than pundits who know nothing about American history, know nothing about American culture. So it's not unusual for that to happen. The only reason they bring this up is because they're trying to create a narrative, again, that Charlie Kirk was a polarizing figure, anti-American, a racist, and one that should not be honored, not for his bad, but should not be honored for his truth. And that's why it's being flown as half-staff. He's being honored for what he said that is truth, that is right, and what is needed.
But Dr. White,
they can come to me anytime. We can debate this. We can meet someplace at the Miller Ale House.
All right, can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
So the reason why I brought that up too is this is I'm just regurgitating what I'm hearing. I'm not. This isn't my opinion.
Yeah, they don't know.
But they're saying that the flags weren't flown half-staff for a senator who was murdered.
What senator, sir? They never
what senator?
See, this is where your people don't know.
A state senator, right?
That's a state senator.
What's his name?
Well, no. He's talking about the state senator in Minnesota. People this is what you guys don't know, the young people don't know. There's a difference between someone who works in D.C. as opposed to someone who is, I promise you, the state of Minnesota flew the flag at half-staff, sir. This is the trick.
Flag.
Okay?
State flag. Yeah.
Okay, I promise you they did, okay? The fact is, this is the trick. They don't know a state senator from a U.S. senator.
No, they don't.
They don't. That's the point. Now, let me address this real quick. This gentleman had the flag flown at half-staff by the administration that he was gigantically pivotal in bringing into the White House. If the Democrat or the Democratic president had an element in his election run that brought this much to the campaign, I promise you the same thing would have been done. But this is the trick when you don't know, right? Everybody's new to the conversation. I promise you, this gentleman brought almost 50% of a lot of young people to this Trump. Trump would not have won without these young people. He is solely responsible for that. I would have been offended if Trump didn't honor him, because then it told me something I don't want to know, right? We have to understand this is politics, but more importantly, it's politics. And it's done on both sides. People engage with people who help them. You ever heard of appointments? You ever heard of presidential appointments? You ever understand that an ambassador don't run for ambassadorships. They get them based on what they do during the campaign prior to the person getting in office. But you got to read to know this, okay? The problem is books don't bite. Nobody reads. They don't know none. And I'm so tired of engaging with dumbass people. Secondly, you mentioned George Floyd. I don't want no Negro in this country to say the name George Floyd to me and expect me to be okay. George Floyd absolutely might have been a victim, but he was not a hero. For no means he was a hero. He was a criminal victim. Secondly, they gave George Floyd a statue before they gave Emmett Till a statue. There would be no civil rights movement in this country without the name Emmett Till. Let's repeat that. Hold on. There would be no civil rights movement if Mamie Till's little boy had not gotten on the train to go visit his relatives in Mississippi in the mid-50s, and he was murdered viciously by some racist-ass white folk. There would be no civil rights movement, but George Floyd got a statue first. Stay with me, Doc.
Yeah.
Please. Go read. Do not come in my face. Do not call my show. Do not inbox me if you don't do your research.
Yeah. I mean, half-staff, I ask you, when was the last time the flag was flown half-staff for a foreigner? All right? And that was Nelson Mandela.
Yes.
It's not unusual.
Right.
It's up to the president.
Absolutely.
So and it's up to how they see a figure and what he has given or she has given to the American as well as the world society. So get over it. All right. If you don't want it, okay, fine. That's your business.
Right.
You
But
know,
again,
you don't have to
but you
look at
got to
it, you can walk by it. You can do what you want to do with it.
Well, Doc, you've got to understand politics, and they don't. And you're talking about the senator who was viciously murdered with her husband in Minnesota. They were state representatives. And I can assure you the people in Minnesota felt horrible grief. That was horrible. It is amazing. There are so many people standing at microphones, don't know the difference between a state representative and a United States representative. Shut up and read. And it's offensive, right? The president of the United States has the right to fly the flag at half-staff if he deems so. Now, it's like the problem is they're just looking for anything to hold on to. Now you're mad because the flag's at half-staff. Now they done gave these propagandist-ass preachers money to go to the microphone. Listen, the midterms going to bring an ugly look. And you should be in the back room somewhere huddling trying to figure out how you're going to regroup. And the only way you can regroup and engage the Negro is play the race card. That's all left, Doc, the race card.
That's all what's left, you know.
That's all what's left, man.
It's so interesting that the race card is being used. And, you know, it's being used in a way when we have other problems.
Yes.
Real serious issues.
Serious
Pressing
issues.
problems.
Pressing.
We have, you know, last year, the unemployment rate for black men was over 13%. All right. Do you realize that the majority of the new homeless group demographic are black folk over the age of 60?
Yep, absolutely.
All right. These types of issues. Do you realize that the American dollar is being devalued all over the world, and right now we're bracing for a recession?
Absolutely.
All right, that's going to hit home in about 6 months.
And
All
Doc,
right,
I
and
want to
maybe-
hear some of these black preachers to go to their microphones and address the fact that under 25% of young black kids in urban communities are not efficient in reading and math.
In fact,
And I
it's to
think the number
point that-
hovers right at 20%.
Yeah, it's to the point now that the majority of our people
80% are not efficient in reading and math.
Can't even read at the
80%.
fifth grade level, Don. They can't
Yes.
read at the fifth grade level. They cannot even do arithmetic at the fifth grade level.
Right.
This is where we are
That's
right
where we
now.
are.
And
But
you're
we have
talking about
preachers-
Kirk? You're
we have
talking
preachers-
about Kirk, about him saying something that I haven't heard or most people haven't heard.
Right.
All right. Look at the real issues.
You know what, Doc? Thank you so much, my good friend. Y'all go follow him, Doc. The book is still on Amazon. Tell them how they can get the book, Doc.
Yes, we have a website. It's called Blacklisted, the
Okay.
price for speaking truth.com.
Right,
Blacklisted, the price for speaking truth.com. If you go to that website, you order the book, I will send it to you, an autographed copy, and I'm sure to say that that book will change your life.
We're going to put that in the thread. D'Amica, thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you
Go
for having me
say some
today.
words. What you got? You got
Queen
anything
Mother
left?
from Ghana.
What'd you say?
Queen Mother. I mean, you went to the mother continent. You're
Yes.
the Queen Mother now.
Yes.
You know?
It was amazing. I think I might go back.
Really? So you had a great time.
It was very impressive.
Okay.
Very impressive.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
You know how to follow D'Amica Page on all platforms. Follow Doc. We thank you so much. I just want to keep this in your mind that Charlie Kirk never used hate speech. He used speech they hated. And I looked to find something that I deem totally racist that he said. I'm sorry, guys. I was up till 4 o'clock in the morning, like 3 days in a row. I couldn't find it. Listen, follow us on all platforms. Subscribe and like. Phil, real quick, can we run through a few comments real quick, Phil? I know we got to go.
Oh yeah, there was a lot here.
Let's just see what we got real quick because I like to acknowledge the people, man.
Okay, hold on. Here let me scroll up some here.
All right, just real pop them out.
Some people
real
were writing paragraphs. So
quick. Okay, all right, okay, all right. Well,
Let's see at least one
yeah,
paragraph.
give us one then, Phil.
All right, here you go. Love people getting fired.
Oh.
We got God does not seek a man of any political form to govern or lead the church, his people, but a righteous man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go. You got fans, D'Amica.
Hey, Sparky.
Sparky.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
This one. So they were debating on. That's too long.
Yeah, and she shouldn't even be in the thread. Go ahead.
Everyone
it.
saying-
Lulu.
All right.
Yeah.
What a powerful trinity of knowledge. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, well, thank you guys so much. Please subscribe and like. Head over to Facebook, The Don Miller Show. You can follow D'Amica page.
I miss taking phone calls.
Huh?
I mean, I miss radio and taking phone calls.
Hopefully, something's getting ready to pop real soon. I just want to tell you guys how much I love you. I appreciate you. I've been a little nervous in the last few days. I kind of mentioned it to a couple of people that this is very, very difficult for me as a black guy. Having this kind of conversation, I get a lot of pushback from people who look like me, but I don't.
You'll be fine.
Listen to me.
You'll be fine.
I'll be fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't do that.
But I just want you to know, don't run up on me. I'm just telling you right now. I get it. I know people think they can, but don't run up on me, Phil. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I got about 8 to go. Bop, 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 bop.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much, everybody. We love you so much. We'll be back Thursday. The Don Miller Show Thursday night is live. We just had to get Doc and D'Amica out here to have this conversation. What a brilliant conversation.
Yes,
we love you so much,
Doc.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Swag so tight. Check your feelings. He's turning wrongs to right. Every Thursday at 8, his voice takes the stage. The man's got soul like a record